Good morning all of you. Myself Dr. Pooja from the School of Commerce and Management. Today we will discuss a new topic, that is compensation. Compensation means an employee that get in return of his or her job, everything that is returned back to him is called the compensation. It means when an employee give his or her services to an organization and in return he gets some monetary benefit, some non-monetary benefit, other incentives, some rewards, all the things that he get in return of his and her contribution to the organization is included in the term compensation. We can define the term compensation is a systematic approach to providing monetary and non-monetary value to the employee in exchange of work performed. It means that whatever work is done by an employee and in return of his work or contribution, what he gets in the form of money and additional in the form of non-monetary terms, other benefits, is called the compensation. In compensation, it is directly related to the financial and non-financial benefit. They can be directly or indirectly given to the employees. Generally in compensation we include four things. First is the basic compensation, next is the incentive compensation, next come fringe benefit, and next come non-financial benefits. The main objective of designing a compensation structure is that it helpful an organization to attract the talent. First, there should be a compensation structure in an organization. It means that what an employee get in return of his work, it should be very clear in the form of money. What amount is paid to him or for his services, it should be communicated to the employee, so it helps them to attract towards the organization. The very famous organizations such as Wipro, Infosys, they have a very sound compensation structure. That's why each and every employee wants to become a part of that organization. So compensation structure is the main or key factor to attract the best talent towards the organization. Second, retain the talents. Compensation structure also helpful to maintain the talents. The person who are employed in the organization, they should be a part of organization for a long time. So there should be a sound structure. They should be monetarily satisfied with the amount given to them. So they can't switch here and there. So sound compensation structure is also a basis for retaining the employee towards the organization for the long time. Next come motivating the employee. A sound structure is very beneficial for the employees as well as the employer, because it helps them, it motivates them to work hard. Whenever they work very high, they work beyond the standards, it means they get a hike in their salary, they get a hike in their monthly wages. So it is a very motivating factor that helps them to work with more energy, with more motivations. Other benefits that are given with the help of a sound compensation can reduce cost. The cost in the form of production cost, the cost in the form of other employees retaining and their hiring cost, all a sound compensation structure helpful to maintain the budget of the organization and reduce the cost of hiring and maintaining the workforce. Next comes the component of a compensation structure. Basically there are two components of compensation structure, that is financial and non-financial. We can say that the direct and indirect. Direct compensation include what are given to the employees directly in the form of money, and non-direct compensation include indirect compensation include anything that is not given to directly in the form of money, rather than it is given in the form of some other kinds of benefits. It can include basic pay, it includes basic wage and salary, variable pay that vary from person to person according to their performance. It can be bonus, it can be incentive, it can be stock options. Indirect benefits can be their health benefits, their life insurance, their retirement benefits, and various educational plans that are provided to the employees. We will explain these points one by one. The compensation system can be classified into indirect compensation and direct compensation. Direct compensation, we include basic pay, that is wages and salary, and merit pay, which is based on the performance, and direct compensation we include incentive, deferred pay, that can be savings, stock purchase, annuity, and in direct compensation we include protection programs that are for the safety and well-beingness of employees. They can be various medical insurance, their life insurance, their social security. Next, pay for the time not work, we can also give them various benefits in the form of when they didn't work for the organization, they can be they and their family can be sent on holidays, vacations, they can be provided sick leaves. Service and additional benefits that can be included: recreational services, car services, financial planning, low cost meal services, and so many benefits that are given to them. And moreover, direct compensation can be incentive pay that are directly related to their salary increment. It can be in the form of bonus when they get additional salary, commissions on the extra selling, piece rate system, profit sharing, stock option, and shift differentiation, that is they are providing some relaxation in the work hours. All these are included in these benefits. We will read about them one by one. First is type of compensation. Basically, in type of compensation we have two kind of compensation. One is primary compensation and second is supplementary or secondary compensation. Primary compensation means the basic pay in the form of wages and salary that an employee get, and supplementary compensation include various payments, various benefits. They can be non-financial benefit, they can be fringe benefit that they additional get beside their financial package. We read the components of compensation one by one. First is wage and salary. What are wage? Wage means the hourly payment done to the employees. When the employees are paid on the basis of per hour a day, it is termed wage. And salary, when employees are paid basically monthly basis, then it is termed as salary. Generally, employee get for their job written in the form of wage or in the form of salary. And there can be incentive also called the payments by the results. When they work higher than the expectation, they get some additional benefits that are termed incentives. And fringe benefit includes the cluster of benefits that an employee get in return of his jobs, such as medical leave, hospital leave, child care leave, and other health insurance, life insurance. All these are come under the cluster of fringe benefits. Next come determination of wages and salary. Wages and salary, wage refer to the payment when done is on the basis of their unit produced 1 day, 1 hour, and salary for their time spent on a job, particular for a month, for long terms, then it is defined as a salary. Factors affecting wages and salary. Generally, wages and salary are determined by the factors demand and supply of labor. It is the very basic and major factor कि how much availability of labor is there. It determines if the labor is available in high amount, then the salary and wage structure should be low, and if there is a scarcity of the wages labor class, then we have to hire them and we have to pay more money to them. Next, ability to pay an organization. What structure is adopted by an organization, it always depends on how much they can pay in return of the services for an employee they hire, how much they have funds to pay them. Next come cost of living. Every organization has to provide such money to the employees so that they can maintain their living standard, they can come up with their cost of living. Next come productivity. If the productivity of an organization is higher, it can pay easily higher amount to their employees. Next come collective bargaining. Collective bargaining means when employer and employees get a mutual consent on some amount, they collectively bargain on an amount and they determine the structure. Next come privileging wage system. It includes the system that is already present in the organization, that is already ongoing in the market. An organization has to follow that structure also. Next comes state regulation. Whenever an organization is going to pay its employee, it has to keep in mind the state rules, the various acts that are formed by the government, whether it is central government or state government. So all these factors should be keep in mind while designing the wage and salary structure to the employees. Next come classification of wages. Wages can be classified into three parts. One is minimum wage, second is fair wage, and third is living wage. We will describe them one by one. Minimum wage. Minimum wage can be defined as the wage that is required to maintain the basics requirement of any employees. It include their requirement of food, shelter and home. This wage cover the sufficient amount that should be enough for the family of the employees and for himself. It is the minimum, it include the minimum living cost, it include the minimum level of subsistence that is required for their well-being, that is food, water and shelter needs, and it is fixed by the government in consultation with business organization and trade unions. Means they have to fix that amount for the minimum survival of an employees. Next come the fair wage. Fair wage means wage that is higher than the minimum wage, but it is lower than the living wage. It is fixed by, it is more than the minimum wage, and it is a mid between the living wage and the fair wage. It can be determined with the paying capacity of the organization. Next come living wage. Living wage is the highest amount or highest wage paid by the government to their employees for satisfying their social need of the employees. It improves with the growth of national economy as it provides them subsistence for living, and it is higher than all kind of wages. It means it is higher than the minimum wage and fair wage, and it ensure a minimum standard of living for the employees. Next come methods to determine wage. How wage is determined by an organization? There are certain methods. There can be collective bargaining. Collective bargaining means when there is a mutual consent between the employer and the employees, they both settled on a fixed amount that is given to them. Next come arbitration. Arbitration means when they appoint an arbitrator, that is a third party. With the help of this party, they mutually get their consent on a certain amount. Next comes state regulation. The regulation that are followed by different state. An organization where it is set up, it has to follow the state regulation also. Next come wage boards. There are various boards that determine the minimum wages for each industry. An organization has to follow these standards. Next come pay commission. For various center and state level governments jobs, there is pay commissions. They give their recommendation time to time, and it is followed by every organization. Next come the phases of compensation management. How we can manage compensation? There are various phases of compensation management. There can be, first there is job analysis, second there is job evaluation, third there is wage and salary survey, and fourth one is compensation structuring. First is job analysis. In job analysis we include job description and job specification. Second one is job evaluation. In job evaluation we include job ranking, job classification and factor comparison. Next come wage and salary survey. It can be done with the help of journal survey, it can be done with the help of company survey, it can be done with the help of published data. Next is compensation structuring. It includes grading the jobs and finally determine its sound compensation structure. We will learn about them one by one. First is job analysis. Job analysis means to analyze a job, to understand the nature of job, to understand what are the key responsibility, what are the key roles that are related to a job. It includes two things: job description and job specification. Job description include give a brief description about the job, what is required to perform a job, what are the duties, what are the responsibility that are associated with the jobs. And job specification means what are the key requirements from the side of job holder, what are the requirements of knowledge, skills and abilities on the side of a job holder. It is done with the help of job specification. Next come job evaluation. Job evaluation means to evaluate the worth of a job. How worthful is a job? It can be evaluated on the following basis. First is job ranking method, where ranks are given according to the perceived overall market value of a job. Next is job classification method, when a job is classified into various classes. Next come factor comparison method, where there is a comparison between the various factors is done and a complete ranking is done to each and every job according to the risk, according to the roles, according to the responsibility involved in a job. Next come wage and salary. Wage and salary means planning the wage and salary survey. We have to collect data about the wage and salary system. We have to make a planning for the data collection. When data is collected, we have to organize it and we have to analyze it. Next come compensation structuring. In compensation structuring, a framework is provided by the organization which defines the various pay for each job, how much amount is given for a particular job, and grade structure on the basis of the complexity of the job, on the basis of the evaluation of the job, various grades are given to job. On overall the whole structure of the compensation is determined by an organization. Next come compensation model. Compensation model can be various. There can be traditional model, there can be cafeteria model, and there can be a mixture of both that we call modern model. In traditional model, employees have to follow a fixed compensation structure that is already decided by an organization. They have neither to any choice. They have a fixed salary structure is followed by the organization. Next come cafeteria compensation model. In its model, the employees are given a choice. They have to select cluster of salary and benefits that are given to them by the organization. They have to select from a basket of the compensation benefits offered by any organization. And modern concept is that we call the combination of both traditional and cafeteria. An organization can choose out of them. Next come classification of wages. Wages can be classified into three parts. Minimum wage, that is essential for the basic fulfillment of food, shelter and home needs of employees, that is for their basic survival. In India it is 178 per day. Next come fair wage. Fair wage, which is above the minimum wage. It is determined by the paying capacity of any organization or trends that are going in the market. Next come living wage. It is the highest form of wage which is determined by the government, and it is very essential for the maintain a minimum standard of living for the worker. After that come the various reward system. Rewards means any benefits that is given to the employees that motivate them to work. There can be extrinsic reward and intrinsic reward. Extrinsic rewards can be rewards that are tangible in nature and that are under the control of the organization. They are directed by the organization itself. There can be promotion, there can be bonus. Whom person or who employees that is doing well, he will be promoted for the higher job, and the person who is giving best in his job, the person who is giving best result in term of performance, organization can provide them various kind of bonus. Next come intrinsic rewards that are intangible in nature and that are internal to the individual. They can be providing them challenging assignment, informal recognition to the individual for their work that is done by them, provide them flexible work hours or some titles or some good recognition for their work. After that come incentive. Incentives can be long-term incentive, short-term incentive. Short-term incentive means incentive that are given to the employees for their short performance, and long-term incentive include that are given to them for long-term, such include annual bonus, profit sharing, gain sharing, employee stock option. Annual bonus means for their completion of annually work they are given annual cash bonus. Profit sharing, they are invited for take a amount on the profit of the organization. Gain sharing means when an employee give better performance, he will give higher performance up to the mark, then he will give, they are invited for the shares. And sometimes they are also invited for the employee stock option plans, means they can buy from the organization share. After that, non-monetary incentive, there can be various incentives that are not directly given in the form of money, but they are very motivating for employees also. They can be recognition of employees contribution from time to time. We have to motivate the employees, we have to recognize their performance, we have to point out their performance, giving them suitable titles, challenging assignments, providing them more challenging jobs so that they can become more confident, their knowledge, skills and abilities can be increased. Additional responsibility, sometimes employees are given some additional work beyond their day-to-day work, and they are given additional titles for their supporting work also. Free gifts or free vacations, sometimes employees are given various kind of free gifts, they are given holiday packages for their family, vacations for with their family. Next come flexibility and work-life balance. They are provided flexible work hours, they are provided more challenging job, they are more recognized with their superior and supervisors, they are providing comfortable work condition. Next, opportunity to attend educational events and workshops. Sometimes they are get remit from their day-to-day work and they are go for their personal enhancement program. There can be educational visit, there can be other workshop that are essential for their personal development. So all these are the non-monetary benefits that are provided to any that are provided by any organization to their employees. Some other benefits that are given to employees can be in the form of medical insurance. They are provided their individual insurance as well as family plans are also given to them. Life insurance for their life, and medical insurance for their health purpose. They are given some insurance, some incident security and other benefits. Retirement plans when they complete the phase of their work, and if they are committed towards their work for a long time and now it's time to get them retired with and giving them some benefits so that they can enjoy these benefits after their retirement. Disability insurance, if while they are on work some casualties happen, some accident is happened, and it can provide insurance to them so that if they become disabled or if there is any dependent on them, so organization provide various kind of insurance to them. Next come canteen facilities. For their refreshment, fresh meal facilities also given, canteen, tea breaks, other benefits are given. Crutch facilities for the employees who have small childs, they can take their childs and take help the crutches where they can provided some restrooms and for the take care of their small kids also. So all these are the benefits that are provided by the organization to his employees. By these benefits we include cluster of benefits in the form of direct compensation, that is direct wage and salary. We see fringe benefit that are additional benefit given to the employees in the form of medical, in the form of insurance, in the form of health and safety. We see benefit non-financial benefits which are given to them on the on the basis of their performance, on the basis of the result they have given for the organization. And we see other kind of non-financial benefits that are given to them, not in the form of money, but they are very helpful for their growth. Suppose if we are giving a challenging job to an employee, if we are giving a suitable title that can help them to maintain their motivation level, that can help them to do their work with more energy, with more committed levels. So all these are the cluster of benefits, and these cluster of benefits are termed as the compensation that an employee get in return of his and her contribution to the organization. Thank you.